Hello, welcome along to Bangkok ChitChat, and we're live on YouTube and also Facebook. Today, it's a Pattaya Report, and joining Andrew and myself live in the studio, it's our representative, resident from Pattaya, Craig.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for joining. Before we get into the first part of the discussion, if you're watching live, then you can participate in the live chat. That would be great. We'll try and read out as much as we can. And if you're watching it on the replay, you can leave your comments below. And also don't forget to like, share and subscribe. First question to you, really, because we've talked to Hua Hin, we did a Bangkok report. In a word, describe Pattaya right now.
Preparing. I mean, things are starting to get ready, I think, for a return to normal, but we're definitely a long way away from being normal.
I mean, in what way? In what way you mean? The pubs can't sell booze, or the attitude restaurants are not buying in all the product, or general atmosphere, or
well, you're seeing quite a lot of places that have been renovated. You're seeing bars and restaurants which are have a bit of money spent on them, and you can see people sort of doing some renovations, obviously ready for a new opening coming soon. But of course everybody knows the story when it comes to the bars. The bars are the last thing which seem to be available for people to enjoy, and Pattaya being a place.
Shall we watch this clip? Yeah.
Yeah. This is on my the soi where my office is in Soi Chayapun that I took a couple of days ago. It's just 30 seconds.
There is a commentary that we're not hearing, but I think the viewers are.
Yeah. I mean, it just talks. So as part of the reopening,
they can hear that.
Just within a very small area here on Soi Chayapun, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new bars that have all been done up ready for the big opening. The blue bar here being one of them, and this is
that
illustrates it there.
Where is that again?
It's on Soi Chayapun, which is just off Soi Buakhao,
which is on the dark side, yeah.
No, this is so you've got Beach Road in Pattaya, you've got Second Road,
yeah,
and then in between Second Road and Third Road, you've got Soi Buakhao.
Right.
And that's one of the sois that runs off it. So it's quite a lively area where
not very lively just now. It's lovely to see all these lights on, but nobody in it, and no chairs and things like that.
Well, that's where
that's why we're preparing.
Yeah, preparing. Yeah, that's why I thought from that. So as you can see in that particular soi, there seems to be quite a bit of people that are bullish about what's going to happen in the future, hence the reason that they're investing in bars.
But they're new bars, or bars that have been taken over by somebody else and redone?
Or same owners?
A bit of both. I mean, I can't actually categorically remember exactly what was in each of those shop houses before, but certainly if they were bars, they were just sort of run down, very basic beer bars, and now there's been money invested in them to turn them into, more sort of sport bars type, and more going on, should we say?
Yeah, because we discussed this before about people were looking at the opportunity of COVID. Okay, there's a lot of negatives, but the positive to the investor entrepreneur was they'll get a cheap price, yeah, and then do it up and make profit. So all this, it is very sad that restaurants are closed, but all these key locations, someone's going to take them over. So the building owners are going.
Well, I was listening to Brian Flowers the other day on one of the channels, and he was sort of suggesting that there would be a lot of bars that won't reopen, and they will never reopen as the same sort of thing. I don't know what he was thinking they were going to be, but maybe restaurants, maybe, in other words, not go-go bars, not how we knew it before.
I mean, sure. I think we all know that COVID has changed everything dramatically, hasn't it? And things will evolve off the back of that. And whether one of those things is the fact there's less bars, then I guess that's what will happen. But as we mentioned before when we were chatting before we went live on air, it's not like there's a shortage of bars in Pattaya, and I guess like everything, the bars will come back if the people come back, because it's driven by the demand for the customer.
They're trying to change that atmosphere within.
Well, this is going to be my question.
You look at the walking street, they're changing all that. Yeah, that disco went on fire. They're going to use a great excuse to clear a section there. Then there's new rules on the seaside.
Which is
element.
probably why this area, the Soy Buakhao area and the Chayapun, is Soy Lenki, is the areas where the bar scene that was in Walking Street is going to be moved to.
Right.
So therefore, that's why people are investing in that.
I mean,
area.
I think
Right.
a big question that when talking about Pattaya, Bangkok is different for the business side. In Pattaya, it is mainly tourists, right, that keep the city alive. Well, okay, you name me another industry.
Yeah, you're right.
that keeps it alive.
100%, yeah. I mean,
For Pattaya, I look at it as a bigger area.
Chonburi, whatever, Pattaya as it needs tourists. So those
Beach Road, yeah. I mean, of course.
And those tourists come for entertainment, food and beverage, some for extracurricular. I mean, a lot go for, let's face it, the sexy side of Pattaya. So that's what is being affected the most by COVID, isn't it? It's like the bars are closed, so no one's coming.
Well, there's the fact there's no tourists coming in. Yeah, absolutely.
So my question is, will there be bars in the future, and then will those tourists come back to Pattaya, and will it be like it was before?
I think it's a bit to say that it's just the bars and those sort of tourists that are not coming isn't necessarily the case, because don't forget, you've still got the curfew there. So regardless of whether you come as a family or whether you're not into that scene, you still want to go out in the evening and have a bite to eat and a few drinks, right? So at this moment in time, that's not even an option. I mean, again, longer term.
Really?
Well, not after 9 o'clock. I mean, you can. I mean, at your own risk, obviously. But I mean, certainly you hear many stories about people getting their collar felt after 9 o'clock. I think we all know getting a beer is not a problem, but at the same time,
it's 10 o'clock now, isn't it? It's extended to 10 o'clock.
I think where there's
bars close at 9 o'clock to allow their staff to get back home.
Exactly,
at 10 o'clock.
where there's a bit of the restaurants and where there's a bit of leeway given on the alcohol. There is no leeway, I think, after 9 o'clock. If you're serving alcohol after 9 o'clock, then that's it. You're you can find yourself in trouble, I believe. But yeah, I mean, will bars come back? I mean, obviously, I don't definitely know the answer to this question, but the thing is...
Because if they don't, that's my point. If they don't, surely that's the industry that Pattaya survives on. Therefore, how can it get back to...
Because what they're trying to do is zone it. They're trying to create zones, and I think that's a clever idea.
We talked about that months ago.
I think the zones will come into play. They're trying to see, a safe environment, a family environment. We were talking earlier on like Bangsaray, which is not Pattaya, just before you said it.
No, I know.
And they're going to attract different groups. But let's just go on to what the rules are now.
From what we know and
from what we know, and I'll say it again, until it's in the Royal Gazette, it's not in place. And also having discussions today, I believe, about how they're going to implement some things. So from November 1st, there is, I hate doing this because Billy Connolly said he'd break their fingers if he saw someone do it, but 10 low risk.
What? I didn't understand that.
Yeah, exclamation marks. He hated that.
The air things. Yeah.
So there's 10 low risk. We only know 4. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And UK wasn't in that.
UK
list.
was in the one I saw. UK,
right, okay.
China.
So there's 5. Yeah.
UK,
Singapore, China, USA,
UK,
and oh damn it, where is it?
I think UAE's in there, probably Dubai, isn't it? And
China was there.
Where is it? Yeah, Germany.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay.
Australia.
Right. So Australia.
Not at the moment, I don't think.
Well, it's weird though because Australia got very, very low rates. I mean, Western Australia, from what I understand, doesn't have any cases, but they've locked their borders.
Okay, yeah? I'd like to say hello to Pedro Tai. He says, good day, fellas. Good day. He says, Australia not on the 10 low-risk countries yet.
Really? I find that really surprising. Thanks for that, yeah. I find that really, really surprising because Western Australia has got none. I know Sydney, Victoria...
Oh, they get one case and they lock down the whole...
New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland, they have a certain amount of cases, but not like, 30,000 a day, yeah. But anyway, an awful lot. It comes down to what the originating country,
Yeah.
their rules.
Well, let's
Because-
get back to
Right,
the rules of them
the
coming
rules here,
in.
November
They're
1st,
good.
basically what will happen is of these countries, you've got to be fully vaccinated, which means 2 vaccines, and then you've got to have a RT-PCR test undertaken before you leave your home country, and then a test in Thailand. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we're not sure of, whether it's on arrival or a couple of days after you've arrived. We're not
Yeah,
sure.
well,
Right?
and then also where to get it. Yeah, so
That's a good point.
So, is there an allocated hotel? So things are up in the air. Then, as of December 1st, now this is where everything kicks in. Yeah, they're going to be opening up alcohol. Yeah, in pubs.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I've heard it.
I thought they were going to address the alcohol situation. That
well,
was the words I heard.
In
And
the
also-
report in Bangkok Post, I'll read it. He said, meaning the Prime Minister Prayut,
Illustrious leader.
said more countries will be added to the low risk list on December 1st, stressing that tourists from countries not on the list will be required to undergo quarantine. Oh, where's December 1st? The drink.
Get it together, Mr. Sloan.
All right. By December 1st,
Yeah,
we will also consider, correct,
Here we go.
allowing consumption of alcohol beverages in restaurants as well as the operation of entertainment venues. I think the entertainment venues, I think UK pretty much had a problem as soon as they had the football opening and they had 60,000 people,
Yeah.
and then they had a big increase.
But they still carried on.
Entertainment venues, how do they define that? Are they talking about football stadiums or what? Yeah.
Discos,
A bit large
the
concerts.
nightclub.
I think crowds are allowed back to the football here. I'm not certain actually. I was talking
No, nor am I, because I had a
was
guy
talking to
from
my son about
yeah
this,
didn't know.
yesterday, and he seemed to think that they are, and
They are what allowed in.
yeah, they are.
Because I had a guy from up country wanted to follow his team in Bangkok. He said he didn't go because he wouldn't. It was difficult to get in. That was Steve
maybe
Perrin.
they've got-
Big shout out to Steve Perrin.
Maybe they have to show their QR code to show they've been double vaccinated.
Okay.
Anyway,
I was just
the
told
point is,
those crowds
there's
are-
an awful lot of things which are not clear
I know.
at the moment. But in saying that,
Yeah.
we're
Well, let's make it a little bit more unclear. If you're at the airport where you're of your origin, your home airport, and you failed a PCR test, then fair enough. Well, you have to cancel everything,
get on the
but
plane,
you
yeah.
wouldn't get on the plane, cancel it. That's bad enough.
I think it's 2 or 3 days before you fly.
Yeah,
you're
can you
supposed to have it
imagine?
done.
Yeah, but some of these airlines and hotels, do they give you money back? But then the second one is, and this is the most fearful, you get here with your family and you're positive on the PCR. In England, now I'm double vaccinated, I can go to England and take a PCR test. If I fail it, I have to self-quarantine. Still not unclear, still not
That's
clear.
correct, yeah.
So that's all we're saying is...
What are you suggesting that it's changed from before? Because before you were basically whipped into a field hospital, weren't you, for 14 days?
Or ASQ hotel. yeah.
So the guy comes with his holiday, you come with your wife and your kids, and you're the one that's positive.
If you're
Bye
positive,
bye
you
kids,
can't-
bye bye kids. I'm off to 10 days at an ASQ
Well, that's
on my holiday.
Well, it won't even be ASQ, will it? Because you need more than ASQ. Because the point of quarantine is to not
check.
be
That's
not
correct.
to not be positive.
be 14
If
days.
you're positive,
Yeah, no, that's
if you're positive, I'd imagine you have to go to hospital.
14 days.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there goes your 10 days. So my point is saying I wouldn't go then with my family just for the. You could be false positive as well. So why risk your 10, 14-day holiday and you might have to spend it separate from your family? You're there and they're having their
Yeah, but
holiday.
is that going to be the case for the rest of their lives, or what? So,
Well,
otherwise,
also it's going into, like, Phuket has a sandbox, and they had a 7 days where you were there testing again, and then after that 7 days you could go to another designated locations, like we're talking about with Hua Hin and the Hua Hin report last week, and then you can go anywhere after that. Yeah, but you're right. The other factor is that how the hell are people going to get their insurance?
Oh, blimey, trust you to think
Holiday
of that.
insurance. I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah,
important as you get
yeah,
older. It's
no,
more
no.
important because if it's generally recommended by the UK government that you do not travel to these locations, the health insurance will not cover you. Yeah.
yeah, that's correct. We'll
Or they've got a special thing
travel
for-
insurance. Generally doesn't. I mean,
for
there,
COVID.
there will be some local insurance options which people can take, which will cover them while they're here. And in fact, as you're probably aware, you need to have $100,000 of coverage, which covers
How much?
COVID insurance. $100,000 US of of COVID insurance. So when you have the certificate, it needs to specifically say that on the certificate.
Then you've got it in the bank to
No, this policy covers US dollar 100,000 for COVID.
Okay.
That is a requirement of the certificate of entry.
And how much does the person pay for that policy, do you think?
Well, it varies. I mean, some of the ones that I've been suggesting to clients sort of start about sort of 5,000 or 6,000 for 90 days. And again, there's often different sort of communication that you're getting from different Thai consulates where people are applying, as you can imagine, as far as how long a period they require that insurance for. But generally speaking, I've got these 90-day sort of passes which people can buy, and you can download it all online, and that seems to be working okay at the moment. But you know, that's an aspect. But I mean, longer term though, I mean, I know it's all the more generic talking about it, but it's like, you know, we've got to learn to live with this.
Well,
Right? So,
in my naivety, I can only see proper, and I'm talking about Pattaya here now, not Bangkok, because we have lots of other stuff going on that can make Bangkok survive. In Pattaya, the only way it's going to get back to normal is if people can come over from most of the countries in the world that would come over here. They're double vaccinated and they don't have to bother with anything. There's no test, there's no nothing, and they get on with their holiday. Until that happens, I can see a lot of people deciding not to go because in case they fail the test.
but what's happening in other countries? I mean, is it only Thailand that's doing it? I mean, other countries, I don't know much about other places, but like Vietnam, for instance, which I know about, where I used to travel to often, you know, that's like, you know, completely closed unless you're coming in as a special you know, employee or something like that, or like it was when things were sort of 6 months ago here. You know, you don't get in. So I mean, other countries around the world must have a similar testing involved, do they not? Although you've probably got a more lenient way to self-isolate or whatever.
What about people travelling to Spain from the UK? I'm not sure whether they have.
There's a few countries you can go to now from the UK, I think, right? But
Yes,
I don't know which ones you can and which ones you can't, and why you can and why you can't.
And then whether you've got the situation.
If anyone can let us know in the UK,
plane,
that'd be great.
When you know, if you've got somebody positive on there, does that then create an issue for the other people on that particular flight? Because of course they're going to be more likely to be positive as well, right? Although I guess once you've had a test.
Yeah, if you've just tuned in, you're watching the Pattaya Report with Craig and Andrew and Andy, and at the moment we're talking about what everyone's talking about, but the opening of Pattaya, when it's going to happen. Yeah. It's a matter of now if it's going to happen, you know.
I think it is going to happen. It's what degree and restrictions they put on. And another thing is we're talking about, you know, people coming here. You have to be pretty dedicated to go to, you know, one, you get your visa, then you get the certificate, then you get the insurance, and then you travel here, and there's a risk associated with that, okay, you won't need to do quarantine if you've got all this sort of stuff in place. It's a pretty dedicated tourist to go through all of that to.
Well, let me ask you,
because before it was you got, you know, 1 month on entry done.
I know.
So is it people who have partners here? Is it business people?
I think a lot of them have partners.
I have heard of some people who are flying into because Thailand does not recognise digital signatures. There has to be a wet signature. Right, so it can't be scanned. So then, and this law is being changed next year for legal documents. So they fly into Phuket to sign the documents and then fly out again.
Well, that's where the COVID passport comes in, doesn't it? Because that would be digital. You just scan it like a normal passport. Test it, done.
But is this tourists, as we'd see before, backpackers and things like that?
No, well, backpackers is an interesting one, as you say. They're going to be the last kind of, I suppose, that are going to, because the whole point of backpacking is having that freedom to wander from country to country, isn't it?
So Khao San roads, a big long recovery for them.
Yeah,
so it's people that are not here to see the sights. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
no, definitely.
I know you were trying to say that.
I mean, you've got obviously the guys that come over for 3 or 4 months, and that. You know, golfers, for instance. I mean, the golf courses are open as normal. And you might have people that come. I mean, the alcohol thing is a factor, obviously, and the curfew is a factor as well. There's talk about it being considered from December. I guess if you're somebody who comes over to play golf, you might think to yourself, well, okay, I can live without the bars for the first month, but obviously you don't want the bars to be out of action for the whole 3 or
Well,
4
no.
months that you're
Yeah,
here.
I mean, just going to the chat. Chuck, hello, welcome. Thanks for watching, mate. And Pedro Ty's back, and it's very sensible what he says. He says, I think I'm going to sit back and see how the opening goes for a while before committing. I feel there are still too many grey areas. I'm sorry
Totally
we're giving
agree
you
with
these grey areas.
Unless it's in the Royal Gazette, it means nothing.
He keeps going on about this Royal
Yeah,
Gazette.
because it is. It's the stamp of authority. Anyway, shall we look at some other things?
Yeah,
you
hang
were
on,
saying
I've
about the karaoke, yeah?
Oh, and now I've got to get off the chat into my email because you couldn't print it because your printer went bang, right? Hang on a second, give me time. Talk amongst yourselves. Well, no, the karaoke, yeah. So the social... All right, we all know pubs in Bangkok, right? And we all, well, you may not know, but I think you do. There's always ways around some of these things about drinking alcohol. I'm not going to go into it, but they're not really open. So, anyway,
not
cutting
really
a short story long, the Pattaya City Police raided a karaoke parlour in South Pattaya, where 27 people have been arrested who were allegedly singing badly. Oh no, allegedly violating the current disease control order to control the spread of COVID-19. 27 of the people and the caretaker. According to police, the group were drinking alcohol, not socially distancing or wearing masks, and disobeying the COVID-19 Chonburi orders. No illegal drugs were found, and it was brought to the police attention because the neighbours were complaining about the noise.
Or jealous, yeah. Okay.
And it was,
Nothing's going to change my
it was
love for
after-
you.
Yeah, after 9 or 10 p.m. presumably.
So, do you hear about these raids a lot on these? I mean, you know, Pattaya is famous for it, for raiding people playing chess and Monopoly.
Yeah,
I
bridge,
mean, like,
yeah.
come on, a bridge, I think it was, yeah.
Bridge, wasn't it, a few years ago?
So is there the enforcement? I mean,
Geriatrics
yeah.
get arrested.
Do you hear about this much? I mean, I only read up on the news when I know we're doing a Pattaya report.
I
But
think certainly breaking the curfew rules or being in a bar or a restaurant after 9 o'clock is opening yourself up to getting your collar felt.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems to be the way. I mean, as we said before, obviously never going to name names, but I think we all know that getting a beer isn't generally a problem.
Yeah.
As long as it's a little bit sort of done in a quiet manner. But those that sort of take advantage and stay open, I am hearing are getting.
you see what
problems.
Pattaya misses, and Bangkok to a certain degree, is sitting outside on a terrace, drinking a beer, ordering us some snacks and a bit of food. To me, that's a night out. Am I strange? And you take away that beer. My wife says, well, what do you need the beer for? Well, it goes with everything else. It goes with the whole picture, right? You've got the beer out, there's a bit of the picture missing. You can't do it. But other people don't care about it.
You'll think, you're going to say I'm weird. When I go out for a meal, occasionally I'll have wine, but most of the time I just drink water because I want to taste the food the way the food is. Yeah. And then after I'll have a few drinks.
Certain beers that go well. What about a curry? I mean, you don't have water with your curry, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, not a nice cold.
I don't put it in the
lager?
curry.
It tastes better with
Ice
with
cold
beer.
Leo. Oh, Andrew.
Yeah, I just
No, but you've always said that, so you're not saying it
Yeah.
for effect. And I've always said the same thing. You're an idiot.
or maybe if I'm in the mood, I'll pair with a glass of wine with
Pair?
some, yeah. Well, I wouldn't want to pair it with. I'd ask for a pear, give it a bit of fruit. I'd get the waiter or the manager to recommend
I
something.
think, and I speak on behalf of a lot of people, I'm sure, sitting in a beer garden. It can be in the middle of the city, actually, in the beer garden. You're away from the hustle and bustle. You got your tower of beer. You got your music playing. You got your Thai food coming up. A bit of this, a bit of that. To me, that's what I love about Thailand. Going out, take the beer away, and I'm going out.
No, what you're saying is
I'm an alcoholic.
You'll speak more crap when you've had a few drinks and everyone will think it's really sensible.
Oh, listen to
because
Mr.
everybody's had a
Concern.
few drinks. Because that's the fun.
I'm glad you're saying it's fun.
You speak.
so
I mean,
that's
listen, I
what
don't
we
say I
do.
don't
I
drink.
mean-
of
So
course I
what you're
drink,
trying
yeah.
to say is the beer doesn't enhance the taste. It enhances
Yeah, that's all. That's the only
conversation.
reason. I'm not saying I want to have a beer before the meal and beers after the meal. I just want to have it
That is
at the
noble.
meal.
Yeah, okay.
So
Move on.
anyway, you call me weird.
But
though.
good point. Good point.
Just to cover a quick thing, I'm not going back to the subject, but I'm just mentioning it. Of today, the amount of new cases was 10,064, and there were 82 fatalities.
How many again? Sorry, I was looking at the chat.
10,064.
Yeah, it seems to be hovering around that 9 and 10,000 all the time.
Didn't it? Below 10, but the numbers, the deaths obviously are less than 100 is obviously good. Well, not good. Obviously,
It was
but
9,445 on Tuesday, but today 10,064. Yeah. Right, so anyway,
yeah, I mean, you know, and we apologise. We've been saying this for months, and about this COVID thing, but it is on everybody's lips.
Yes.
My little old lady that sells me the Leos round by the local mum and pop shop, it's the first thing she's saying. You know, have you been vaxxed yet? Not that she's worried if I'm vaxxed or not. She just wants to know. Yeah. I've got my first one, and she's like over the moon, and you know, and it's in every bit of our life at the moment, and I'm getting really sick of it, to be honest, aren't you?
Well, everybody
is. I mean,
silly statement, to be
yeah,
honest, because everyone is.
We want our lives back, don't we? I mean, that's without doubt. But
you came out with a classic when you came into the studio this morning. You went, yeah, we've been sort of saying like to get back to normal. Bloody traffic now.
Yeah.
And the same thing went through my mind.
Is it the same in Pattaya? Traffic?
No.
Oh, good point.
Because again, it wouldn't be, because the numbers are clearly a lot further down, as we said at the start of this chat about the.
They're still working. You've got the industrial estates. You got Amata. You got.
Yeah, but not. I mean, I don't. I mean, from where I live to my office, I don't need to go.
Oh, right, okay.
That way. I mean, that's out the way. But I mean, but yeah, I mean, still, I mean, again, I suppose it depends on whether the area is one that's usually bustling with tourists or whether it's more residents. I mean,
you'd notice the difference.
There is still some traffic. I mean, when we go over to the dark side, where I live, when you're heading off Sukhumvit Road there, often if it's about 6 or 7 p.m. at night, you've got a lot of markets and that sort of thing, and again, residents, Thais and foreigners that are resident there. So that's normal. Yeah. But as soon as you cross over Sukhumvit, really, this is about the sort of light side and the dark side now. That's where you see the stark difference in the drop of numbers, the number of people. What
also there's the start as of the 8th of October, they've got the promotion for hotels. So we are going down to the Santara in late October, and we got the Santara for 1,800 baht. Yeah. Down in Pattaya. Yeah. So we're just going down for one night because there's a particular event on. So this promotion, the local tourism, and then we're also going away later on in December, as well. Yeah,
so the firework festival later on in November.
He's got five different events.
I mean, they've been talking about that for a while. They've been talking about encouraging domestic tourism down to Pattaya.
Yeah, I mean, that's all they had left.
And this is,
but the deals.
But this is where again it comes into play. I mean, you talked before about having the beer with something to eat. I mean, that is part of every domestic, whether they're Thai, Western, wherever they're from, going and having a seafood, and having a cold beer with,
or a glass of water
with your seafood, is what most people enjoy. And if they take that away, then of course it doesn't make it as attractive.
I'd like to say hello to David Peters. He says, I've got to go shopping, so good luck on that one, mate. And Chuck has said, and I know this is a Pattaya report, but we were talking about this before we went on air. He says that I saw that December the 1st, Thailand will eliminate quarantine for vaccinated people in Phuket.
I haven't seen that.
And you mentioned something about, or you did, one of us.
It's nationwide from December 1st.
Not the quarantine, but I think possibly the no need for the test.
Yeah, I think that's what we're talking about, Chuck. And then there's this PCR thing. What is a PCR? Is the thing up your nose?
Yeah. But it's
that can be quite painful. Oh, it can be. I've heard that it can
be brain dead after it.
Goes right up. They wouldn't find anything up there anyway, so it's okay.
I mean, it's like everything, isn't it? They are, of course, reducing these restrictions as they go, and they have to, and that ultimately will encourage.
I can see it all at the end. Double vax, get on with it. No more testing of anything, and you're double vax. It's going to be just like the normal flu. I caught flu in Thailand. Big deal.
Well, the other thing is they're going to have to start the boosters, because I know that in the UK,
mentioning the boosters.
Yeah, they're going to have to start boosters because we've especially the Chinese vaccines, as we were told, it was you get 3 months protection. You get your first, your second jab, yeah, and then you got a limited protection between there, and then once you've got your last jab, you've got about 3 to 4 months protection,
Yeah.
and then it starts dissipating.
I was talking to a guy in America on
Not just the Chinese ones.
on Talkback Thailand, big up to them, and he's from, I don't know, somewhere in America, and he says, I'm 7 months down from the second jab, and now I'm getting messages, take your booster, take your booster.
Yeah.
And it's the farmers, and when I mean farmers, not spelled with an F, PH.
Yeah.
How much money are they making from all this?
Shitloads. I think.
So I'm not taking a booster, I'll tell you that now. I'm finished with that.
Well, what they're also looking at, they're bringing a pill, yeah?
Well, I'm not
so
on the
if
pill.
you sure you're not pregnant? Anyway, you'll get a pill in the future, I think, rather than an injection.
Yeah,
which means basically you get a prescription. Yeah.
But isn't this thing going to be remember Dr. Eric said that once the herd immunity comes, 70%, the actual virus will die out. So what we're left with is just a normal flu virus that happens every year anyway.
No one seems to talk about that, do they? No one ever seems to have continued the point or even discovered whether you can get COVID twice.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Well, they say yes, but I haven't read it in. I've read it, and I've also said
you can get twice. But
what about 3 times? What about 4? What about 5?
But malaria.
Take your booster.
Malaria, you catch it once, you can have it recurring throughout your life. Yeah.
Well,
shingles, you can do that same.
No, shingles once and once only. I know because I had it.
Oh, really?
And you've got to have had chicken pox first.
Well, all right, okay.
And that's your second time because shingles is like chicken pox.
Probably more.
Yeah, but malaria, dead on.
More closely linked to influenza.
Dengue,
but I mean,
Dengue is the other one. But what I'm trying to say is, this is my mate who lives in Pattaya used to get flu twice a year, and it really annoyed him. And I've never had it, and now I've had vaccinations. I know what flu feels like. And I went, yeah, no wonder. He used to take every year the flu vaccination, and he said he felt groggy for a couple of days, and he said, I might catch it, but if I do catch it, it won't be so bad. So surely after this COVID's got to go away after this herd immunity.
It'll ever go away.
Well, at the herd immunity, Dr. Eric said it'll die, but there'll be something new coming up. But won't that just be like a normal flu?
How long will that take? I mean, you can say when you were a kid. Did you get polio when you were at school? The polio's sugar lump. Yeah, the sugar lump. Yeah.
Yeah, I had something with
right.
Yeah,
or smallpox or things like that. Yeah.
Diphtheria.
Well, I mean that's from your age to my age, so that's 10 years, yeah, or more, yeah. So you think it's going to take a long time? We have to learn to live with it, and if we have to get
like we did flu. So what's the big deal?
Because what you've got just now is some people who are refusing to take it, and I understand their reasons, yeah. But then you're going to have the same recurrence, like you've just said. I'm not going to have the booster. Well, I guarantee you will have the booster, yeah? And the reason is because your wife and your kids are going to give you a lot of a headache to go and do it. And then you'll see other people taking it, and you'll take it.
It'll be just like catching flu, which I never caught before anyway.
We don't know, that's the point.
Well, it is a flu, right? Well, what is a flu, actually?
Yeah, but I mean, but some flus, a light flu, it can turn into pneumonia, yeah, because it affects your immune system, yeah. But this just directly kills you.
Well, I've got somebody on my side. Chuck. Correct, Andy. Thank you, Chuck. Once people get vaxxed, and many have already had corona, game over. We are pretty much there now.
Pretty much there. It means you're not there.
Well, something else comes out next year, but it'd be like the
and
old
there could
flu.
Be a new variant.
But it'd be like the old flu that nobody cared about.
We're just going to have to accept there's a risk in life of getting COVID and get on with life.
This is a Pattaya.
All being well, the vaccine that's been produced so far has got the ability to stop turning COVID into something serious.
Yes.
Now, if there's boosters that are needed for that and they're once every year, so be it. You know, it's no big deal at the end of the day. I don't want to get it. If that's what the consensus is, and you go once a year and you get it, then why not? But then, because that's what you don't want. You don't care about getting COVID. You care about COVID becoming something which
is about 0.02%.
Oh no, that's a
different
argument altogether.
Yeah,
I do err on that side, but it's
I know you do. I know.
I want to put.
You see, the percentage is so. Yeah. But this is a Pattaya Report, and we will do a COVID one again. But I feel sorry for you guys because we're all bloody talking about it.
To get back to that, I mean, actually, on the vaccines now, I saw a Facebook post earlier because there's been foreign residents have been able to just walk in and get Pfizer jabs. I mean, I don't know if you're aware of that.
Where?
It's run by Bangkok Pattaya Hospital, but the actual location of the vaccination centre is in Central Department Store.
Walk in?
I think on the 6th floor. Walk in.
Free of charge?
Free of charge. Pfizer. And it's been sort of, obviously starting with people sort of over 60 and then with the list of the underlying conditions. And I saw today it's down to anyone over 40. So anyone 40 and over who's a foreign resident can walk into a Central Department Store and get
You
a
see?
Pfizer.
You see, but going back to your pill, you'll be able to go to 7-Eleven and just get the pill, or I guess they're not a pharmacy.
Hey, listen,
but,
it'll probably be sent to you by Grab delivery, home delivery. Because
it's going to be sent to you by 2 soldiers with bloody, I was going to say something else, but I won't, but in military gear, forcing you to have the booster. That's what a lot of people are saying, you see.
Well, listen,
The thing is,
all conjecture.
before that, they need to get everybody else with their first dose, though, don't they? That's the thing for boosters. But as you said, that's not really.
What are we
so
at now? We're about 45-50% of the whole country. They're looking at 70%.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, that
at the end of the
Well,
month,
70%, you know why, that
70%.
magic 70%, right?
Herd
but
immunity,
then but that's all. The people that aren't vaccinated are likely to be in the provinces and the more rural areas. I think the numbers in places like Pattaya and Bangkok are much higher than that. So we're well past what is safe for herd immunity.
Yeah.
And this is why, presumably, they are, allowing it, and they are encouraging domestic travel. I don't know if you've heard any more. Again, it's like a lot of the things in this whole COVID story, isn't it? Once something drops off, I mean, it just doesn't exist anymore. Because we haven't heard about any, domestic issues recently, have we? Like, obviously before it was like if you were dark red, and I think we still are dark.
Oh,
red,
you mean?
aren't we?
I thought you mean.
So if I'm going down a Kwa Hin where I went the other week, not an issue at all. No one even asks you for tests to see your vaccine. I think they might ask you like one question: how many of you had 1 or 2?
Yeah.
1 or 2.
And
that was it. But I thought that
through the multiple masks that people are wearing.
Yeah.
2
1,
now,
2,
otherwise you're not in the
3
game,
or
bro.
4.
Double mask, guys.
And then you've got obviously that's sort of the deep red areas.
Yeah.
But then what's the story now if you want to go to an area that never went deep red, like one of the Nakhon Ratchasima?
You can just go.
You can go now.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to have somebody who's got an
mean a
element
stop?
of autonomy who's in charge of that sub-district saying, oh, where you come from? You come from Bangkok.
Where's
you're
that
deep red.
happened? Where's that happened? Even when you were travelling up from Pattaya, or other people going to know and they're saying,
No,
"Oh,
but
there's
it's
this
deep red.
stops."
Yeah.
No,
There's this stops. It's just a tent with empty tables and chairs.
Oh yeah, no, all of that. I'm not saying
Do they
that.
give
And
sandwiches?
the issue was if it was this categorisation, wasn't it? So if you were moving from a deep red to a lesser
Yes.
colour, it was.
Oh,
in-
yeah, no,
in
absolutely. It was a
those lesser
thing.
colour
Yeah,
places,
yeah.
the greens or the oranges or yellows or whatever they were.
Yeah.
There was the possibility that you weren't getting checked on the way in there, but if you were there and you were stopped, there was still a possibility that you had to do something, i.e. quarantine, or you couldn't get out or something like that. I mean, again, I don't know how often
I know
that's happened in
Buriram
practice.
province, they were quite strict.
Yeah, that was a good example. I know that I'd heard a story about someone going to a hotel there, and the hotel wouldn't let them book unless they had their vaccine.
Now, I've got 2 little examples before we go to the final funny one, which is not really funny.
I've still got to talk about Ballyhigh, yeah?
I didn't even know that was on the edge. Ballyhigh!
It's on the thumbnail.
Okay, well, I haven't seen the thumbnail. I live near the airport, Dong Mueang, right? And for the last 12 months, there's been no flights over. Well, they don't go over our house, but they go near. Been nothing. But over the last 2 weeks, I'm talking 5, 6, 7 planes going. And my son flew to Chiang Rai a couple of days ago, and there was no test, no nothing. He double jabbed, and he had the app. And he went, no, absolutely. I don't know if Chiang Rai was a double red.
So they
green
checked it
jab.
out.
It would have been a lighter one than here, and that was from Bangkok. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of answered my question. Then,
All right.
Because that's what I'm interested. I'm thinking about
Oh,
going
right.
down to Nakhon Ratchasima to Khao Yai, and so that sounds.
So
like
that's still in place, this double red zone thing, if you're moving from...
Well, that was my question. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
know. Well, I wrote it, I was going, no.
Because it fell off. You don't talk about it anymore, do you? I mean,
No, you don't.
So I don't know. Whether
Remember the
or not-
map?
Yeah. But if what you're saying there, he's gone from Bangkok.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Which is
that
a red zone.
Airlines are going to ask for the proof of the double vaccination. That's something we just got to get used to living with.
I got it here.
But when you but it was once that had done, that was pretty much the only hurdle he had to overcome. Yeah.
Ballyhigh!
Ballyhigh. Okay, so for those who don't know it, we have a little picture of Ballyhigh. Basically, this is the eyesore in Pattaya. which covers the sign, the Pattaya Hollywood sign, as I call it. Yeah.
All right. Right.
So
you can be keeping this story quiet. I don't know about this. Great.
So
Go on, where's the
basically,
picture?
this in 2014, yeah, they were told that it was they didn't have the correct paperwork, etc. This has been a contention. And they were told to stop building.
Right.
Yeah?
We had that covered out
Yeah,
a
we
few
did
months
something
ago
on it
with
before.
Eric, wasn't it?
That's right.
Eric?
So basically, what the situation is now is they've had a demolition instruction. Well, they had this last year, yeah, demolition instruction, and so that was supposed to be demolished. It hasn't been because no one's prepared to pay for the demolition. So now, because there's a whole lot of rules on how far it is away from the road, access, and a whole lot of things. The people that were against it were the locals, saying it was an environmental eyesore, and it also covered the
Hollywood sign.
Well, not just the Hollywood sign, but
The
also
Hollywood sign, the patio sign.
a revered
Oh,
monument.
there it is, yeah.
A revered monument.
Well, that's ugly anyway. Look at the bloody thing. Right on the bloody beach. What were they thinking?
Well,
Well, a lot of resorts, they say 3 stories only. You can't go above the skyline. Look at that
This has been
thing.
there for years, though, hasn't it?
okay, so basically, the private citizens' environmental groups alleged the building was illegal and blocked what they called the well-loved viewpoint from Pattaya Hill, as well as reportedly obscuring the view of an important memorial to the famous Admiral and Royal Prince, Abakar. So I apologise if I've pronounced it wrong. Car TV song. Sorry. All right. In brackets, Prince of Chumpon.
Why didn't you say say the Prince of Chumpon?
Exactly. Yeah, I should have. Yeah. So and also there was all different things to do with planning permission. So what's happened? The reason I'm mentioning this because people are probably well aware of it. Outside of the court battle since 2014, they've now turned round, even though there's been an instruction to demolish it. The company which owns it has said, "Can we start building again?"
Oh, really?
So it was what? There's already been a rule put across, saying no, you can't. Yeah. So they've applied for that. Now my question is, what are they going to do? They've offered to cut 8 floors off the top, so that you can.
Which
can
is a
see
normal
things.
practice here with tall buildings. I know many buildings have had to go down 4 to comply. Yeah,
So they've offered this. So it's just an interesting situation because, as I said, who is going to pay to knock it down? Yeah. Demolish it?
Where's the money coming from?
So I think there's going to be some negotiations on adjusting it. So if you look at the picture there, where you've got the leg on the left, come here, they'll probably cut it down to that. But the point is that all the people above there, because I think it's 54 floors, what about the other people? They've lost their money.
Don't worry, it'll sink over the next few years anyway and lose a few floors as it goes down.
Right beside that, they're looking at putting an amusement area.
Yeah, I remember we
something in
covered
there.
that once on a Pattaya Report.
So anyway, that's an
Nice.
interesting
It
story.
just has to form
Yeah.
part of the wider
Well,
redevelopment
it's setting a
process.
precedent. The thing
Yeah.
is, it's setting a precedent. If they turn around and say, "Okay, do this and do that," is this just going to happen again and again and again and again in builders? Yeah. So anyway, here we
So
go.
I'm not doing my funny one because that was much better. So we're going to finish it here. Before we finish the chat, Chuck said that he was in Isan in July and August when Bangkok was totally locked down in the red zone and nobody cared. He said they knew I was from the States and no one batted an eyelid. Like to say hello to Music Rick. Thanks, mate. Miss your music. And let me just read this first in case it's naughty. All right, Pedro Tai says there are probably Thai people living in the building now and it's not even finished.
Wow.
That's a Pedro
right,
on the ball. I want a sound box, by the
And
way.
if
Boom.
If they're not now, then we should encourage them to do so.
Yeah. So thanks to everybody that's been in
Although they
the.
might think it's a ghost. There was one other story that
Oh,
I
go on.
saw
Yeah,
on the
go on.
Pattaya News.
Thanks, Pattaya News, by the way, because you've great reporting.
And Bangkok Post.
About 2 or 3
And Pattaya
days
Mail.
ago, where some poor homeless chap had obviously been going through a distressful time and was making wailing noises, and a few of the residents that lived near the derelict building.
He's like
could
a
hear
squatter,
this
he was,
wailing.
right? Yeah, okay.
Squatting, and then called the police because they were concerned that it was a ghost. You know? And of course, it didn't turn out to be a ghost. It turned out to be this poor chap. But I reckon
Oh,
there's-
Ty-
Was he okay? What's the point with the poor chap? What was
Thais
it? Was he
love
just
a
sleeping
ghost.
or what
They
was
love
happening?
a ghost.
Well, no, I mean, to be honest, I didn't feel like watching the whole video because I felt a bit sorry for the guy, but he was distressed and obviously.
So
probably
did you go
mentally
around there and try and find
unstable.
him and give
But I
him
was
some
thinking
money?
you could fill that place with
Yeah,
with
yeah,
those
but they'll
guys,
fall out
couldn't
the
you?
side
Yeah.
because there's no walls on it.
All right, so I'd like to thank everybody in the chat for contributing. We've just started this live thing, so it's a work in progress. We hope to get more people doing it. I want to do one with just Bangkok memories and stuff, and you're more than welcome to join. Talking about old stuff because they were talking about it there.
All right,
They
okay.
like to hear the old stuff as well. But anyway, thanks to everybody that joined us live. If you're watching on the replay, please leave some comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Craig, thank you very much, mate.
You're welcome. Cheers.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank
bloody missed a glass of water here. See you later.
See you later.
Cheers.